There is an account of Rukmini Devi's writing a letter to Kṛṣṇa requesting him to kidnap her before her marriage to another person. At that time, the specific attachment of Rukmini for Kṛṣṇa was expressed by Rukmini as follows. My dear Lord Kṛṣṇa, your transcendental glories are chanted by great sages who are free from material contamination. And in exchange for such glorification, you are so kind that you freely distribute yourself to such devotees. As one can elevate oneself simply by your grace, so also by your direction alone, one may be lost. So also by your direction alone, one may be lost to all benedictions under the influence of eternal time. Therefore, I have selected your lordship as my husband, brushing aside personalities like Brahma and Indra, not to mention others. Rukmini enhanced her love for Kṛṣṇa simply by thinking of him. This is an instance of thoughtfulness in ecstatic love. So she had understood Kṛṣṇa's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead just by thinking about him. So this thoughtfulness, this is also a quality of the devotees. The devotees don't take anything just at face value. They think about it. They analyze it. They understand its position in relation to all the other things. This ontological status. This is devotee. So, the next one is endurance. When a person is fully satisfied due to attaining knowledge, transcending all distress, or achieving his desired goal of life in transcendental loving service to God, his state of endurance or steady-mindedness is called dhriti. Dhriti. That's a nice word. At this stage, one is not perturbed by any amount of loss, nor does anything appear to be unachieved by him. According to the opinion of Bhartrhari, a learned scholar, when a person is elevated to this state of endurance, he thinks as follows. I do not wish to be a highly posted government servant. I shall prefer to remain naked without proper garments. I shall prefer to lie down on the ground without any mattress. And despite all those disadvantages, I shall refuse to serve anyone, even the government. In other words, when one is in ecstatic love with the personality of Godhead, he can endure any kind of disadvantages calculated under the material concept of life. Well, we experience this all the time. And none of us has a regular place to live or a job, or, I mean, you know, we're just kind of, yeah, I know, it's so hard, you know. Knocking around this big old world, and somehow we're protected by Kṛṣṇa. And so we don't have any ambition. You know, somebody wants to be the president, somebody wants to get rich, somebody wants to be a movie star, somebody wants to be very powerful, somebody else wants to take over the world with their religion or something like that. But our ambition is only to love Kṛṣṇa more and more. Because we already experience so much satisfaction from doing this devotional service that what could be any better than this? We already tried all those other things. They don't give lasting satisfaction. Compared to this devotional service, they're all insignificant. Very, very transient. So, yeah, if we have to sleep under a tree, or actually we've done this, lived in a tent under a tree in the forest and just chant Hare Krishna, it's actually very pleasant because there's no complexities of life. All these things pass you by. And even though right now we're engaged, for example, in creating a big planning document for our proposal to the universities in India. It's very complicated, and there's lots of different things, but still, it's like we don't feel agitated or rushed or, I mean, it's like Krishna makes the perfect time and the perfect place to do all the work that he wants done. And then he gives inspiration and intelligence and material and everything that we need to present our points and argue our different reasoning, for why we should do this or that. So then we find that intelligent people also accept these points. So we don't need to argue, we don't need to fight, we don't need to engage in politics, we don't need to bribe people, we don't need to do any of these things that people normally do in the affairs or business of life. We simply worship Krishna and all of our needs are taken care of that way. I mean, it's pretty astonishing, but when you think about who Krishna is, well, then it becomes obvious that this is what we should do. And if we actually do it, then we find that it works. But we have to become pure. It's not like you can just jump onto this devotional service and within a couple of weeks become very advanced and get all kinds of facilities from Krishna and stuff. No. First you have to become pure, like Srila Prabhupada said. First deserve, then desire. So first we have to deserve Krishna's trust. And then Krishna will repose great trust in us, great responsibilities. And he also will give the means to carry them out. So we don't have to be in anxiety, we don't have to worry, but take care of things. And the first things that we have to take care of are our own personal purity and the perseverance in our spiritual practices. And then we become steady. Then we can reach this stage of endurance that he talks about. Endurance means that we don't consider our regular service to Krishna to be a big endeavor. It doesn't feel like a marathon, it doesn't feel like very intense. I mean, it felt pretty intense during the Janmashtami festival, but that's once a year. Most of the time we just go along at a very steady pace. And not pushing ourselves, because when we found by example or by experience that when we push too much, then we get tired and we fall down, we get weak and fall down. So rather than pushing ourselves too much, we simply go along at a steady pace, and Krishna provides everything we need because we're 100% engaged in his service. That's the secret. Okay. Nanda Maharaj, the father of Krishna, used to think, in my pasturing grounds, the goddess of fortune is personally present, and I possess more than 100,000 cows, which loiter here and there. 100,000, that's 1,000,000 cows. That's a lot of cows. And above all, I have a son like Krishna, who is such a powerful, wonderful worker. Therefore, even though I am a householder, I am feeling so satisfied. This is an instance of mental endurance resulting from the absence of all distress. In another instance, a devotee says, I am always swimming in the nectarian ocean of the pastimes of the personality of Godhead, and as such I have no more attraction for religious rituals, economic development, sense gratification, or even the ultimate salvation of merging into the existence of Brahman. This is an instance of the mind's endurance due to achieving the best thing in the world. Ah, yes. The best thing in the world is absorption in Krishna consciousness. This is samadhi. Samadhi. Samadhi doesn't necessarily mean that you're sitting there deep in the forest in a trance and not talking to anybody or doing anything. Samadhi means that within oneself, one has achieved the ultimate satisfaction, the complete satisfaction of the soul. And Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad-gītā. He says, when one is situated in this Brahma-bhuta stage, that he doesn't desire anything or he doesn't lament over anything. Like I was saying earlier, he's not affected by any amount of loss. He doesn't lament. Nor does he think, oh, I want this, I want that. But it is not necessarily a state of inaction. It can be, like Arjuna, a state of action in Krishna consciousness. Arjuna was doing his duty as a soldier to please Krishna. And so Krishna was very satisfied and rewarded him with pure devotional service, pure love of himself. Only Krishna can give that. So if you associate with devotees and you work constantly for Krishna, this is a kind of samadhi. And in that state, you attain mental equilibrium. The mind is no longer disturbed, no longer scattered among many different things, but focused only on this devotional service. And that's true peace of mind. Next one is happiness. It is described in the Vishnu Purana that when Akrura came to take Krishna